Hi there, Bang. Nice to see that you've written us a set of essays. Let's take a look at what you wrote here. We've got water consumption, okay? The bar chart provides data on how much water was consumed individually. Okay, yeah. By the highest 7 nations of the world. Careful with that. What does that mean, the highest 7 nations? We don't really know that for sure, so let's get rid of by 7 nations of the world, okay? So the sentence should read, the bar chart provides data on how much water was consumed by 7 nations of the world in the year 2013. Get rid of that. It is clear that there are only 3 countries where each person used more than 50 gallons, good, of water in 2013, while those in the remaining nations bought less than 40 gallons, good. Some 30 units of water per capita was the gap between the highest and lowest according to the chart. Okay, true. On the one hand, Mexico, careful, claimed the top position of the chart with more than 67 gallons of water consumption per person. Successively, Thailand followed by an approximate 60 units of water purchased, which was 7 gallons more than only, which was 7 gallons more than the only European country in the top 3, namely Italy, full stop. Hold on 1 second. Now, gallons. Okay, fine. Okay. On the other hand, every American person, or let's get rid of every, and let's just say, on the other hand, American people use the least water among their chart-provided counterparts, approximating around 32 gallons. A little higher than that, people in Germany, UAE, and France shared a relatively similar amount of water usage individually, which stood at 38.6, 37.4, and 36.4 respectively. Okay, I like this. There were a couple of areas that were awkward, but on the whole, it was very good. My one concern is here with your overview. At least I assume you meant this to be your overview. It doesn't feel like an overview because of all the data here, okay? So you have this 50 gallons here, you have this 40 gallons here. This actually would have been a nice sentence after, or a nice paragraph after your overview. So really, you could have said something like, of the countries in the chart, Mexico had the highest per capita water consumption and USA the least. That would have been good. Okay? Something like that would have been appropriate. Or, yeah, honestly, I think that would have been the best choice here. Mentioning just the top and mentioning the lowest, but not going into any data. Because once you start entering data, it ceases to be an overview and it starts to read like a detailed paragraph. Okay, so be careful with that. I love what you wrote. I thought it was great, and I thought it was great the way you divided this information like that. But again, it doesn't read like an overview. All right, now let's go on to your task 2, which is about international marketing. Here's what you said. Nowadays, commercial connections between countries have been improved dramatically thanks to the advantages in technology. I would have gotten rid of the. As a result, an increasing number of opponents to global trading know the. Think that this trend is aggressively intrusive. Wait a minute, which trend is aggressively intrusive? You're talking about this trend, but you haven't really told us about a trend. To the targeted nations, however, proponents contend, in present not past, that it can also play an integral part in education as well as the universal interchangeability of many traditional prospective maybe, aspects in our life. Okay, Bing, so here's a problem with this paragraph. Number 1, you talk about this trend, but you never tell us what this trend is. So you never actually rephrase this or even introduce international marketing as a concept. The second problem is that you're supposed to discuss both sides and give your opinion. You didn't give your opinion though. You only said that there's like a debate about this, but you absolutely have to give your opinion as well. It asks for it very clearly. And the best place to do that is in the introduction. Don't just save it till later. Let's move on. On the one hand, the expansion of globally well-established companies to a more profitable market causes considerable concerns for the locals who are drawn into an unequally competitive market. Dangerously, small businesses are going to either end up in self-destruction or become an additional cog to the newly created giant wheel. Okay, why? Explain it to me. Go into some detail here. Moreover, although the so-called invasion is without its initial difficulties, such enterprises can cover merely all the expenses incurred during the inception to the locations. I don't understand this. How is this anything? How does this have anything to do with being invasive and intrusive? I'm very confused. Cover all the expenses incurred during the inception. You don't mean inception's the wrong word. Thanks to their own powerful monetary capability. Therefore, unless the legal requirements in terms of levies and taxes are performed accurately, the beneficial inclination is out of bound for host governments. I'm a little confused about this. I'm not really sure what this has to do with. I mean, it's not international marketing. You're just talking about entering a new market, but what about the actual marketing aspect? I'm just not really sure what you're answering. I definitely don't feel like you've answered the question, which deals with international marketing. It might be helpful to look up what is referred to by international marketing. That might help give you a better understanding of what it means, and then it might help you answer this question a little more appropriately, because this was a little confusing to me. You had an idea here that was good earlier on in the paragraph, but you never actually supported it. You just kind of left it flat and you just moved on. But then when you moved on, I got confused and I didn't see how what you were writing was relevant to the topic, okay? And I'm also suspecting that some of the words you're using, while they're nice, they're not doing what you think they're doing. So things like inception and inclination and out of bound, I don't think that they are carrying the meaning that you think they carry. So it looks like there's some wrong word choice here as well, but the conclusion is that it leads to some incoherence. Let's move on. Okay, the latter argument. Which latter argument? Okay, the arguments presented in the introduction are now so far away from this paragraph that you cannot possibly expect the reader to understand what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean by latter argument, okay? So the latter argument, on the other hand, proves that the aforementioned one word, cross-cooperation, is advantageous for all the parties involved. On a large scale, for instance, having shown their inexpensive labor forces, the host countries are introduced to the innovatively developed technology by the incoming firms. Okay, what does that mean? Not only does this capitalize the local advantages for the companies, but also tackles the contemporary employment issues for the incumbent authorities by offering residents fundamental skills required in the workplace. There's no example here, so you're just talking very theoretically, very abstractly, but you're not giving us any examples, any illustration, any sort of support to really prove your ideas. Similarly, to a smaller extent, novel perspectives are expectedly on the horizon of this participation. I'm sorry, I don't understand what this sentence means. I really don't understand. Should the appearances of those international companies offer lucrative chances, more and more people are able to make individual contact with the expatriates for pragmatically practicing languages in addition to truly comprehending alien traditions. Okay, what's going on here, Bang, is there is a lot of use of higher level words, but they're not helping your meaning. It's not showing nuance, it's not showing skill, it's just showing words that aren't doing what you think that they're doing. So they're actually clouding your meaning and not elucidating your meaning at all. So sometimes it's better to choose a simpler word that carries the meaning more clearly, so that your meaning comes across to the reader, rather than trying to use these really advanced terms, first of all, that don't create collocations together, and second of all, really just lead to incoherence, okay? So here this paragraph is supposed to be talking about the positives of international marketing. It's supposed to talk about it being an economical form of education, supposed to talk about language and culture. You talked about that, but again, there's no support for any of these ideas. So it's all very abstract. It's all very theoretical, and there's just nothing really to anchor any of these ideas down. So you absolutely have to provide support for these by giving some sort of example. All right, in conclusion, despite the fact that the fear of the national economy being constrained by foreign enterprises is understandable, clearly stated and precise policy on such inter-collaboration helps seize every tangible opportunity for mutual advancement, would be a better word here. Okay, that's okay. But again, I think I've been pretty clear about what the weaknesses of this essay are. Your organization and your structure is good. I did like it. I did like it. Yeah, it was well controlled as far as coherence and cohesion goes, as that is in terms of structure. But as I said, there were other things missing. So the vocabulary was a problem, and some of the coherence was missing. So I didn't understand what you were trying to say in certain points, partially because of the vocabulary. And then it was just not well supported. It was all very abstract and theoretical. So I would like to see more work from you. I'd like to see you taking this feedback into consideration and potentially applying it into other essays. And I would like to see what you do and what you write after doing that, okay? So see how we can continue to work together in the future, whether it's through the online course or if it's through essay corrections. Either way, I'd like to see more work from you, okay? To see what we can do together and how we can help you get the score you need. Good luck to you.